Hey baddies, it's Yanni
and Nika.
and we are here, episode 53 of My Baddie Can Read. This month's selection was The Man of Many Fathers by Roy Wood Jr.
And guess what, y'all? We have a very special guest today, Mr. Roy Wood Jr. himself.
Woo! Yes, Roy Wood Jr. came to chat with us about The Man of Many Fathers, being a father, and other stories, and we even got, an exclusive hidden chapter. Thank you so much for joining us, Roy Wood Jr.
Thank you.
Long time since Duval. Long time.
Welcome, Roy Wood Jr. We are so excited to have you. Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah,
We know you're a busy man
Yeah.
between time zones, London, New York, everywhere. So we really appreciate this.
A little zigzagging here and there, every now and then.
So I'm Yanni. We met at the book signing stop in Silver Spring back in
Yes.
February. And
I'm
this is
Nika. I wasn't there, but she told me all about it. I bought the signed
that's
copy.
why. Look, that's why she doesn't have a signed copy now.
I do. I bought the signed
Okay,
copy.
okay.
I bought the signed copy.
We're gonna work on it. We're gonna get you one. We'll get it personalized for you.
So thank you for joining us here on My Baddie Can Read.
Yeah.
So as stated before, our podcast, we're just trying to redefine what is a baddie. Sometimes that word has, a negative stigma around it, but baddies can be educated, baddies can be kind. We don't always start fighting in the middle of a mansion swimming pool. So, we have been joined by male guests such as yourself, and we like to ask everyone what makes you a baddie, but in your case, what makes you a bad dude?
Thank
You want
you.
to tell her why we never say bad boy?
Yeah,
You might
I
know
don't
why
know.
we never say bad boy.
I'm always in pursuit of intelligence and always trying to learn more, always trying to do more, always trying to grow. So, if I would say that if I had one superpower, it's always trying to find out more about this world and educate myself on things I don't know nothing about. You can always learn something every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we learned a lot in The Man of Many Fathers.
Yes.
This book is a 10 out of 10.
We love this.
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to get my little brother to read it. Okay.
I'm getting my big brother to read. I'm getting everybody to read.
Yes.
If I had a required reading list for any reason for just young Black men, parents, moms, and dads alike, like everyone should read this book. So it's amazing.
It really resonated with us, really.
Well, thank you all. I appreciate it. I just tried to just be honest in putting together something that hopefully my son could uncover in about 20 years,
Yeah.
probably 30, 35, knowing him, to start piecing together a little bit of who I am in case, in case I'm not around to answer all the questions that need to be asked,
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is a book that you think every baddie or bad dude should have on their bookshelf?
Ooh. See, now you're getting, now you're getting into some serious stuff now. I'm not ignoring y'all. I'm like looking at my bookshelf now
Okay.
and going through some of the titles. I would put Ishmael B. Hang on, I'm gonna get the book. Bam, fresh from the bookshelf. Okay. I got 3 books. All right. So Ishmael Bia, A Long Way Gone.
Okay.
And so this brother was a child soldier overseas and was basically snatched up by the warlords and forced to fight in a war that he wanted no parts in, had his innocence stole from him, eventually came to America. That's a great one. Questlove, Creative Quest, I think everybody should read because it's about figuring out what we are all creative in some capacity. And to me, this book helps you unlock that creative process and understand how other people created the things that they created so that you can understand when ingenuity is striking you. And then this is one I read from my childhood way back in the day. It's called Rise and Walk, the Dennis Byrd story. And Dennis Byrd played for the New York Jets He got paralyzed from the chest down, and the book details his journey back to walking again after being told by every single medical professional on earth, it ain't gonna happen, player. So the idea of just focusing on oneself more than anything else. But I just think, that one and the Child Soldier book, they're just both about, overcoming unsurmountable odds to still, have the life that you hope for yourself. And then, I don't know, Questlove, I just think that brother's dope.
Actually, those are some titles I haven't even considered before, and now I definitely want to read the Questlove book.
Absolutely. Definitely adding those to my to-be read list. So at your book signing, you mentioned the inevitable dilemma that every single male who's had an impact couldn't make it into the book, The Man of Many Fathers. So let's say your editor came to you before publishing and wanted just one more chapter, one more fatherly lesson. Who would that chapter be about? And just give us a snippet of what that story or lesson would be.
There was a comedian that I used to open for named William E. Gilmore. And so he went to FAMU like myself. I started comedy when I was at FAM. So I was working, I was living in the dorm, riding a Greyhound, going places. And so I met Gilmore, and Gilmore would take me from time to time on the road with him on the weekend. Sometimes I wouldn't even get no stage time. I would just watch him work. Just come watch. You ain't doing nothing this weekend. Come watch me perform and learn and watch the other comics. And what I noticed was when we would be on the road, every day, this man would stop at like a Walgreens, or back in the day, it was a Eckert's. I'm old. Back in my day, he would stop at a pharmacy or a Hallmark, and he would get his wife a card. And he would throw it in an envelope and mail it to her, knowing that it wasn't going to get back to Tallahassee before he got back. But at some point during the week, a random card would just appear in the mail from him to his wife, letting him know that he was thinking about her when he wasn't away. Older now, and understanding how many relationships I've fumbled. Should have been doing that. Thanks for the tip, bro. Because when you're gone 20 out of 30 days in a month, all you have is distance, and phone calls only do so much. And it doesn't matter if this is the job. Somebody wants to feel loved. We want to feel thought of. And they're still married to this day, him and Lisa. There was a gentleness with how he nurtured his relationship at home while chasing his dream. And that's something that to this day, I have not been able to properly balance or manage.
Wow. That's amazing. That's intention.
Yes. Fellas, take notes.
Yeah.
Take notes. Yes.
It's the small things that count.
Yeah, either that or he had been cheating a lot and he was trying to prove he didn't cheat. One or the other, I don't know.
We're gonna have faith in the positive.
The romance. Y'all gonna cling to the romance. But yeah, that was definitely a lesson of just about nurturing relationships and what love looks like. I didn't really get into that a great deal in the book. For me, this is a book about your core value system. How did I get that software installed, and how am I going to teach? Before I teach that lesson to my son, I need to first really sit and think about, well, damn, where did I get the idea of loyalty from? Where did I get the idea of not snitching? For that didn't come from rap songs. Where did I get the idea of hard work and tenacity paying off? And then doing a deeper dive into my parents-own relationship and realizing that a lot of my traits that are beneficial to me professionally, they were just coping mechanisms at the time. Like a lot of what we are from a personality sense, to some degree, sometimes it's just trauma response. And that doesn't make it bad, but it's important to know where it came from as you help to educate your children. Because, the thing that always frustrated me, and still frustrates me about Black folks, you could ask your granny and them, ask any Black person over 60 to talk about something in their life that's deep. Well, I don't want to talk about that no more. Get out my face, you don't want to talk about that.
Yes.
And I get it, because it's your trauma and you ain't unpacked it yet, your damn self. So you really don't feel like getting into it in the middle of a cookout. But at some point it would be dope if if our elders would do that deep dive, even if it's just a little bit on themselves. Let me know when you felt love or when you didn't feel love or when you felt regret. You know, one of the wildest things, and this was part of what inspired me to write the book in the first damn place. I did an episode of Finding Your Roots. And in that episode, I found out that my father lost his father when he was 4. And there was no other male in his household until he left for the rest of his time, until he left for college. So there was no man, not a consistent one in his life. Maybe an aunt, or maybe an uncle or an aunt, or like maybe you got some game from other folks in the family tree, but it completely reconstituted how I saw him and how I interpreted a lot of the decisions and choices that he made around me. So I think it's very important that we know and that we're able to connect with that type of stuff. And so that's part of why I wanted to put the book together.
Yeah, definitely agree. And like to your point about people not wanting to open up, you know, people are always fearful of judgment. And it's like sometimes it's not even about the judgment, it's just the explanation. Like like you had to accept that. You had to accept that when I'm unpacking my trauma, I may be judged for certain parts of it, but that doesn't mean to just shut everything down. Like just have that, you know, explain it. It reminds me of a story a trainer at my job did where they talked about how somebody prepared a roasted pig or something. It was something in the pot. And they were like, this is how grandma does it. She cuts it off and puts it in the pot this way. And for generation and generation, that's how they did everything. Someone said, well, let's ask great grandma, why did she do it this way? And she said, baby, the only reason I cut that thing in half is because at the time I didn't have a pot big enough to make it whole. And so it's just like unpacking, because you may think some things are it's just the way we do things, but it's like, it's an explanation for everything.
Exactly.
But yeah, I agree with, you know, sharing your stories. Like with my family now, we've like implemented that. Like we have like with our women in our family anyway, where we meet and we make sure like we have those open and honest discussions with my aunts, my mom, and things like that. But I really like agree we should be passing those stories down and being honest. So
yeah, it would be great, but you know, I also feel like we're blessed. A good comedian friend of mine, Baron Vaughn, said something to me that's just lived with me for years. He said that, you know, our generation of people, we're the curse breakers. So it may not be on our elders to have that level of self-awareness or even have the strength, you know, to go back and unearth all of that stuff. It's on us to make sure that it ends with us.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just it's a weird balance of you're trying to protect your child from the wounds that you receive, but you're also still doing triage on yourself to figure out what your wounds are. So it's kind of these two things happening at the same time, type of balance.
So can you say today that you fully forgive your father?
Yeah, you forgive. I don't think living with anger and all of that stuff. I don't know what forgiveness means in the sense that, and now we can be friends again and we can be a family. I think forgiveness is about letting go of something and just going, I'm not tripping on that anymore.
Yeah.
To me, that's what forgiveness is. I think there's, of course, the book is written from a place of not having all the answers to all the questions because he died when I was 16. And so you're this great, amazing man and civil rights journalist, but left something to be desired in the home. And so I just wrote a book talking about how those certain things affected me and how I innately sought guidance from other men because he wasn't around. And here's the lessons I learned. So it wasn't so much an indictment of him as much as explaining why these voids in myself exist and why I needed to go and talk with the random coworker or why I found myself shadowing more senior comedians on the road so I could get some knowledge. And so, you know, the idea of, am I hanging on to anything and still being mad and bitter? That doesn't help me. And he dead. So what good does any of that do me?
Mhm.
in the day to day. So, no, I think we have to reasonably know how to let go of things. You know, you just have to.
Yeah.
For sure. That kind of tied
Yeah.
into the follow-up
Yeah.
of just that, just we were going to follow up with, what advice do you have? Because, forgiveness and letting go is hard when that person is not here, because it's like, even if I wanted to get an apology from you or have that talk that I should have had after the baked potato, but you're not here.
Yeah.
So you kind of answer that in your question. Just that's how you just have to decide. For me, I got to let go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I had to let that go. I had a pops, he was a little bit of this. I wish he'd been a little bit more of that, but he wasn't. But what can I learn from it to make sure that I'm a solid pops? So that my son ain't in his 40s writing a book about my ass.
Yeah.
You can write a book, but don't tell him I wasn't there. I got pictures, boy. I seen your first baseball hit. I seen your first basket. I was there, take it account.
Well, we're afraid that we got to make sure he ain't going to try to be a rapper and have one of those sob stories like, my pops, they told me I wasn't going to be nothing. My pops wasn't around.
Yeah.
We don't want him being like T.I.'s son. So my grandmama raised me. I keep it hood.
Yeah, because your dad was on a national tour. It's okay.
So reading about your dad's relationship with money and Welcome to Birmingham reminds me of Julius from Everybody Hates Chris. So if there was
That's
a
me.
sitcom, if there was a sitcom of your entire childhood or early adulthood, what would it be called?
Oh, boy. If it was a sitcom from middle school, it'd be called Latchkey. Because I saw my parents at night and on the weekends. Because my mama was in law school and she's grad school, law school, doctorate. Like my mom never stopped getting degrees. So, but she was also working full time. And then my pops he was gone in the mornings for morning radio, and then he did an evening jazz show. So, hell, I'd have just been just freedom, just living on my own damn near. If I did a sitcom, it'd probably be from college. It'd probably be I'd call it, Boy, You Shouldn't Have Stole That. That's too long of a title. But that's for insider. That's for folks who read the book. You'll get that.
Read the book. Read about that testimony.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that would be hilarious. So who would you cast to play young Roy Wood Jr.?
There's a young comedian that I enjoy watching named Nav Green. And Nav, you know him from a lot of sketches and stuff, but he really got his weight up doing stand up over the last couple of years. I went to see a Drewski show in New York. I don't know, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and Nav was opening, and very solid, bro. If you pull up a picture of him, he looked like a young Manny Fresh, and I say that with respect.
I gotta look that up. I gotta look him up. We probably seen something and don't know his name.
You know what I'm gonna try to do at some point? I want to write. It wouldn't be a full movie, but there has to be a scene of Nav Green as my son and Stanley from The Office as my dad. And we just play 3 generations of fat jawed Negroes. I don't know what the scene. I don't know what the movie would be. But I got the casting. Got the casting figured out already. Y'all laughing a little too hard now. Don't be disrespectful now. Being disrespectful.
We knew we were going to be laughing too hard doing this. Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll be looking out. We want some cameos on there. Okay, so when you get it together, don't forget about it.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Okay, so who would play Mrs. Joyce Wood and Roy Wood Sr.?
Well, he said
Ooh, I would love to get Delroy Lindo. I don't know if he would want to. Delroy Lindo could play. He'd murder being my pops. My mom, I don't know. She ain't gonna like that I say this, but because I would cast my mom younger and tell the tale of me when I'm younger,
Mm-hmm.
Sanaa Lathan,
Mm-hmm.
you know, very revered, funny, but no nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tamala Jones. My mom is very funny. My mom is
We can
very,
tell.
very,
Yeah.
yeah, my mom is very hilarious. And I know that's like, you ain't supposed, like, I'm not calling either one of them old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying if you're in your 40s, you could play the mother of an 8-year-old
Mm-hmm.
reasonably and it not be me trying to make you a grandma. Yeah, yeah. I think that's what I'm going for. Yeah, yeah. Give me Delroy Lindo and Tamala Jones.
Okay. I like
I like
that.
that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
So, which lesson was your favorite to write?
Ooh, I'd say out of everything that I wrote in the book, I'll tell you a lesson that surprised me that I hadn't even thought about until I really started kind of laying it and spelling it out. And that was the one about having the coworker that was on cocaine.
Mm.
I had, for the people who don't know, when I was a teenager, I worked with a dude that did a lot of cocaine regularly. And I don't want to say we got into a fight, but he definitely put hands on me. And and the lesson that I learned from that is something that's really stuck with me for the rest of my days, just in terms of being worried about other people when you should be focused on yourself
Mm-hmm.
and the circumstances behind that. The night that I got booed at the Apollo Theater and the conversation that I had with a street hustler and a sex worker that night, that conversation still resonates with me
Mm-hmm.
to this day. And that was a story that was one of those stories I tried to tell on stage as a joke a couple of times over the years, and I could never quite get the tone right on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that one to me was probably those two. I think are the two where I'm like, those are definitely two lessons that I definitely still carry with me. And of course, the story about the last conversation I had with my father and how that conversation shapes to this day how I interact with my child.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all.
I'd say that.
Okay.
Johnny, did you want to say your favorite?
Huh?
Your favorite lesson?
Oh, so my favorite lesson is Old Caterpillar. I just love the entire chapter because I just love, there's an anointing on your life.
Mm-hmm.
And as like I was reading the book and I was like, I had to ask, like, is he a man of faith? And I don't want to be presumptuous, but when I got to like the chapter where you
Yeah.
talked about the pastor, I'm like, he gotta be. He's taking
Mm-hmm.
advice from the pastor. He's a man of faith. And this, like, I just
Yeah.
love that you shared that, to just show what God can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when it just seems, when the future seems bleak.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just love
Yeah,
that you shared that.
I think that not leaning into despair is a very important part of how we get through our storms, respectively. I was raised in the church. I don't go nearly as often as I should, but I think that those beliefs and habits have never left me, and those feelings have never left me. But in the idea of, especially in those times, thankfully, I had been a part of campus ministries
Mm-hmm.
when I was in college. And that ended up really coming back. I don't want to say coming back to help me, but, my pastor at the time, he was one of the people that kept me from getting expelled. But I
Mm-hmm.
stole credit cards while I was in school. So, FAMU was ready to expel me, but, it was my pastor and a couple of family friends. My pops taught at FAMU. My mom graduated as well. So, like, they were connected just enough for that expulsion to turn into a suspension. And it ended
Mm-hmm.
up changing my life when I came
Yeah.
back to school. And, the idea of what you can do with a second chance, that's substantial. And
Yeah.
so, you know, that idea of forgiveness and understanding that who we are isn't who we may necessarily be destined to be, but understanding that this is your moment right now, so you got to deal with it and figure it out. That stuff was all very, very important to me. So yeah, I've tried to stay true to my faith in that regard.
Yeah.
And
that favor.
yeah, and it's always, and speaking up for yourself too, like no matter what it looks like, I'm sorry that the guys that went before me, y'all, whatever y'all said, it didn't work, but I'm still gonna speak up for myself.
Yeah.
That split second, they might be like, 10, I'm gonna be nice to number 10. Come on, number 10. Speak your piece.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
favorite lesson would have to be you driving to see the DJ. And that really resonated with
DJ
us.
Chapman.
Yeah, because I feel like, he gave you an opportunity, and just like you're doing now for us, I feel like we're a beginning podcast, and we really appreciate you coming on, and you're giving us a chance too. So thank you.
No, absolutely. If you care enough about a thing and you're committed enough to set up cameras and microphones and actually read the book, to me, that once you're committed to something, the fact that someone else has been doing it longer than you doesn't make you any less worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
You just become who you are because you never stop being what it is you want to be. So I'm always down to sit and have conversations with people. I did morning radio for a very long time and got a lot of no's repeatedly from people who just for no reason just didn't care to have conversations or reach people. Mm-hmm. And I think to me that matters. And I think a lot of why I sit here is because of the Lavelle Crawfords and the Bruce Bruces and the Samores and the Wayans brothers and the George Wallaces and the Sinbads, who even if their shows were sold out, they would still come and chop it up because it's still good to have a connection with people. So I'm here for that. So, congratulations to y'all on your platform and what you're building.
Thank you so much. We received that.
Yeah.
And when the millions start coming in, we're going to have a good gift for you. So what has been the reaction of your paternal family members or even like friends of the family to your account of your dad and the man of many fathers?
I don't think folks from my dad's side have read the book for real, because if they did, I'm sure they would have called me and been like, yo, what the fuck is this? So I don't know. I haven't heard much. My sister and I talk on a regular basis. I have a half sister. I'm the 9th of 11 kids. I'm my mother's only child. Mm-hmm. So I got a lot of half siblings and that I talk to on varying degrees of regularity. Mm-hmm. My mom, in talking with my mom about it, it very much has been kind of a combination of just her discovering all these things that was happening while she was out of the house. Mm-hmm. And like the book, like the first third of the book just reads, yeah, while you was gone, yeah, I was.
No, for real?
Yeah, the dude that runs the crack house, he bought me a box of tennis balls because we kept hitting home runs into his backyard. And he didn't want us hopping the fence in his backyard because it was needles back there. Mm. And so, just stuff like that. So I think my mom was a lot, was more in shock, and I wanted to talk about, just some of the dysfunction in her marriage to my dad without putting all her business on Front Street. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that that I was talking about things that affected me directly and not necessarily affected her. Or not necessarily, there was just two things between them. So, okay, y'all had a bunch of arguments, but this argument in particular changed me when you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
That thing, like that.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who write memoirs and they haven't been able to balance it the way you have. Where it's like, okay, you're just telling me other people's business. Like, low key, talk about you, like you're just telling me like, hey, let me tell you about my aunt. Let me tell you about, it's like, what? How did you get involved in this?
Of enough information to understand, but not really absolutely give me your mom's key out.
Exactly. Yeah, you did a great job with this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And to your point about like telling stories, so I told Nika, I was like, we need to share like something, because that's so funny when like as you get older, you tell your parents a story where it's like, let me tell you what happened, and I can say this comfortably as an adult because you can't, punish me for it.
Yeah, you can't get
You want
mad.
to share? I think I'll share mine first. So mine is, I was a little kid running around with my friends, same as you. We thought we were grown women. So I was doing my school fundraising. Remember you came home with the little packets
Sell
and
the
you ordered, like
candy,
the
yeah.
frozen pizza and the expensive
Jewelry.
chocolate covered pretzels that were
Yeah.
$50 a bag. So
Katie Dids and all that.
we lived so I don't know if you're familiar with Southeast DC, but we lived in Southeast. So I'm going around the neighborhood in the different apartment buildings, and I went to one of my neighbors, and so I was like, we were asking her if she wanted to buy the pies, like one of the frozen pies. She was like, babies. She told us, she was like, interesting enough, she was like, I'm already baking a pie right now, a blueberry pie. And so she was like, come on back and get some, when it's ready. And so I was like, parents, like, you ain't going in anybody's house. You ain't eating anything from anybody, but thinking I was a grown woman. I went back about 30 minutes to an hour later, had me a slice of that blueberry pie. And as I was walking home, I was like, my brother and sister, they gonna see me with this pie and be like, where you get this pie from? Where you get this pie? And try to make me throw the pie away. So being grown, I'm like, I'm gonna sit in the hallway because they can't, they can't be the fake, parental guidance if I just sit in the hallway. And to this day, I laugh at that story because I'm like, now what if they would have found me in that hallway foaming at the mouth,
passed out?
Because I just swore I was pulling one over on them. I'm like, yeah, they ain't getting this blueberry pie. I'm eating this pie. And I'm fine. This lady, that's a sweet old lady. They don't know Miss Karen. She's a sweet lady. But that's my little story. When I told my mother, she said, yeah, you could have gotten sick, kidnapped, anything. Trying to eat some pie and hide it from everybody.
Like Martin when he was trying to eat that pie in Life. He had that blueberry, whites only pies.
That pie was so high.
That's exactly how fast I was eating the pie too. I'm like, then they gonna be in my business. You eat it from a stranger. I sure am. This is a good pie.
Mm-hmm.
They would have found me out there foaming in the mouth, in the hallway, laid out, dead.
Similar. Like I was banned from going in this certain neighborhood in Southeast, and me and my cousins called ourselves being grown, getting on the metro, going in, and the curfew time was coming up. So I'm like, all right, we got to get back because she about to call the house phone to make sure we in the house. And by then I didn't know how to forward the calls to my cell phone because I was doing that a little bit, Mom. I'm sorry, but we was hiking. We was like pushing it from the bus stop, trying to get back to the house. And this lady saw us and she was like, where are y'all going? Because we like some young girls, it's dark now. And she was like, where the heck are y'all going? Why are y'all out here? We were like, we trying to get home. We just trying to get home before we get in trouble. And she was like, get in this car. And we got in this random lady's car. And she took us home. And she was like, y'all don't need to be out here. And I'm just thinking like, when we got in the house, she was like, ooh, we made it before my mom called. But we was just thinking like, that lady could have took us anywhere.
Snatched us up.
Yeah, she could have taken us anywhere. Yeah, so, but we made it back before my mom called us.
It would have been just like the drunk man.
Yeah. I got in the car with a drunk man. He was drunk, but he was going to take me. It was cold. I was like, look, man, we getting a crash. At least I know I'm going to the hospital. That's warm, too. It's cold out here, little nigga. What you doing out here? Get in the car. Yes, sir. But to be fair, I was also about 10th grade. So I was a big boy in 10th grade. So I wasn't going to be no easy win. We was going to fight, trying to murder me.
Look, y'all could have jumped her.
Yeah, my cousin was like, she was like this, we're gonna have to hit her. We're gonna have to hit her. I'm like, Lord, at least we made it to the house.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Ain't no shame.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know you talked a little bit about how your family took the book, but specifically with your siblings, I know you say you don't really talk to a lot of people on your father's side, but about your sister, does she agree with your perception of your father and how he was towards them versus you?
No, it's not a matter of agree or disagree. We didn't grow up together, so we got two different men. Mm-hmm. So she just receives what I said, and then, we had a really nice conversation one time years ago where she just really laid out for me, like, layer by layer what her experience was with my pops. And she got some short ends of the stick too. And so then you start realizing, oh, everybody got screwed just a little. We just all got screwed differently. I'm just the only one who wrote a book. I mean, it's like, so this idea of, and I never harbored jealousy towards siblings because y'all got this version of Pops versus this version. But it was interesting to see where, all right, if he spent more time at my two younger brothers' houses, it adversely affected their upbringing and how they view relationships. And like, we're not the same. And part of that is because of the time that was spent in the home or not spent in the home. So, we've talked a little bit, but I don't think we were never at odds as a family. And then I say everything and then they go, oh my God, I didn't know. It's just kind of everybody just kind of in their own little fiefdoms. And when I finally started saying stuff and chirping a little bit here and there on stage, she would reach out to me to go, hey, what is this? Where's this coming from? Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, well, and really having a degree of sympathy. And it's not that I was really looking for any of that. I'm just sorting through the stuff for the sake of my son.
Yeah.
Yeah. To our point earlier, about like, just having those conversations and explaining things, it's so important because similarly, I have some older relatives in my family where it's like, two separate homes, first marriage, kids here, second, children here. And the father, he was a humdinger, he was a rolling stone. And so when they got older and were able to talk about each other, they had like similar conversations where the older group of children are like, he was never around because he was there with you guys being the family man for y'all. But this younger set of children, they're like, actually, when he was never here, we thought he was over there with y'all. And so, might be a third family out there somewhere that we don't know about. So, and then that's why it's important to have those, because, you didn't harbor that, like jealousy or resentment, but some people could. And it's like, you don't know the full story without having those conversations where it's like, hey, you think I got it good over here. I actually didn't. It was, it was toxic over here too. He was absent here. Yeah. So it's just, to open up.
So, and so it's nice to be enlightened to that, but it didn't change what happened between me and him.
Yeah.
So thank you. And that gives me a little more perspective. And it's kind of like like almost as if she was trying to cut off some preemptive resentment that I might have had towards him, but I never did. I never thought about it to that depth. It was just, this is about me.
Yeah. You ain't my dad. So
yeah.
So which lesson was the most difficult to write?
The chapter about the last conversation I had with my dad. Just for the listeners, without giving it away, but he passed with prostate cancer, and his cancer slowly, when cancer spreads, you eventually start losing, a lot of cognitives, it's like a quasi-dementive dementia type state that you slowly start slipping into. That conversation was hard to recall and to document and have to literally write down the feelings that I felt in that moment and really play by play lay out what happened that day. That was hard. I've reread my book and listened to the audio book and all of that. When I wrote that chapter, it was hard. And then having to voice the audio book and reread that chapter aloud, that was the first time I'd read it aloud.
Wow.
That was impossible. And it's a piece of literature I never need to read again.
Ooh, I feel you on that.
I don't need to ever look at it. I don't want to know. I don't need to know.
I don't know if you just heard Nika, but she said that's why it's hard to keep a diary. We always, when we talk about like journaling stuff, Nika's always telling me like, oh, I don't journal. I don't want to go back to those bad moments.
I cannot.
And it's so crazy because to your point, the other day I was reading the old journal entry from when I was pregnant or like it was like it was postpartum. And I was like, I see exactly what Nika is talking about. What happened?
Maybe I
But
don't
when
even
you're
like
past
writing
it,
it.
What
I
the
don't even like writing it down. I don't like just
like Lord. But then I said too, I was like, the silver lining is like the way I felt in those moments. It's like, oh God, to how where I am now, mentally and emotionally, I'm like, that was nothing but God. Like, wow. Like I don't know who wrote this, but whoo, she was having the time. She was having the time.
So, what's your favorite
yeah.
part about being a dad?
Oh, you know, relearning the world through my son's eyes is probably the best part of being a father. You know, the idea that these things that you discover, like even something as simple as rewatching a movie, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, man, I remember this movie. Let's watch it again. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Um,
So cool.
I'd say the best part of being a dad is being able to relive moments through my son's eyes. You know, bike rides and ball throwing and shooting hoops and drawing and laughing. You know, he has a bit of a sense of humor. I don't know if I like that or not. How much trouble it'll get him in his school. But my child is funny. He's very funny and reads like just a ravenous appetite for books, like I've never seen. Like I know I never had. So that part of it, I'm definitely like, huh. Well, that's different. Oh wait, no, that's me. And so you know, I'd say the best part of it all is just being able to get back and discover and learn the things, and then also not being so arrogant to think that I can't be learning something from him in the process. So yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yes.
That resonates with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All the things. My baby, she's 4, and just like you said, I just love discovering things with her. I'm like, oh, this excites you. She
Yeah, like, oh, you like this? Oh, I like it too.
and
Yeah.
it's like, woo, but her, she's funny. And then I feel like she's a little sassier than me too. I'm like, hold on now.
She is sassy.
She's a little sassy. I'm like, I probably got to take a few boxing classes. I don't know. You think your mama can fight real good, don't you?
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for single moms and choosing a man who's going to be their child's stepdad?
And make sure you love kids to start. I would
Yeah.
say clock if he makes any inquiries about. I don't think it's that different from anything else in a relationship. Make sure they're interested in you or interested in the things that bring you joy. So it could be a baby, it could be fashion. Whatever it is you love, make sure he know you love it, and then sit back and clock whether or not he gives a damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's real.
Because
Ladies.
Yeah.
he's going to show up. I mean, because whether you like it or not, he's going to have an influence on the child.
Yeah.
He's in the orbit. You're bringing him around. So I think there's that. I think there's a degree of caring about the footprint that they leave in the world from a character standpoint. And if you find someone that cares about how they affect the world, they're only going to try and put that same influence on your child. And I think that's and for the positive. So, you know, if little man got little league, I ain't saying your boyfriend need to know what position he played and know all his batting statistics. But once a week, you should, what's going on with your child? Is your child still alive? Just see if he asking about that. You know, but it just depends. You know, I got friends that have grown children and they really ain't trying to be a part of raising no 8-year-old. They may just want to be with you and not want to come around the child. Not everybody want to meet your children. So you need to decide whether or not you're okay with that. Because, you know, I've dated people in the past who have had healthy relationships with their child's father in a co-parenting capacity. And there was less pressure on me to go play catch or proofread homework, you know, which I think is like that's a serious line to cross.
Yeah.
Like, y'all need to be damn near fiance, like
Yeah.
Negro need to have keys to the house type stuff. Yeah, but yeah, that would be my advice. But I don't know. I'm not the person to be giving dating advice. That's a whole nother podcast. Talk about that on another day.
We know you told Pastor. I'm working on it, Pastor. I'm working
Yeah, I told him. I'm still working on it too. That was 10 years ago when I said that to Pastor Green.
Join the club.
Yeah, but I appreciate y'all. This has been really, really, really dope, man.
I really appreciated the Cook and the Creek chapter. I just feel like there's not a widespread conversation about, sexual abuse or harassment when it's a man and a man, or even when it's a woman and a young boy, man and a young boy. So as a dad, how do you protect a son or balance protecting young boys and reconcile that with the idea that it takes a village of men to raise them?
I think that you have to give your kid the ability to trust their instincts. If somebody feel weird, don't feel bad about pulling out of that situation, period.
Yeah.
And don't worry about how it reflects on you. Don't worry about how your choices make other people feel. I try to stress to my son, you're the architect of your happiness. And that's a very, very specific thing that, he needs to understand, because it really is going to be up to you to press stop on the moment and just go, hey, man, I don't like this, I'm dipping. And that's not just about sexual assault. This is about drug use. This is about being around people that's doing dirt. Because a lot of it, if we're talking about morality, we're talking about how do you install a moral compass on a child and give them the ability to detect when someone else's moral compass is off. And, to me, that comes with a lot of telling stories too, so that he knows, hey, here's something that happened to me. Be aware of people that, are too nice. And it's not to say that there aren't sincere people, but there are a lot of people who use politeness as a way in. And I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you for joining us, for blessing us with your time. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Book is amazing.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Thank you, ladies.
Any men out there who have like an organization mentoring, every chapter can be a week's worth of
read,
a lesson plan for just, rearing young men, women too.
Yeah.
And I just want to shout out real quick, Roy. Shout out my cousins, Sherelle, Mimi, and my brother Pookie, because the roaches in the chicken prank call.
Oh,
Johnny
you
Houston.
took it back. This is Johnny Hurston, baby. I'm Johnny Hurston.
To this day, we still play around, and when we get mad at somebody, we'll be like, listen here, nigga. We still, to this day, we'll say. And another cousin got to follow up with, listen here, nigger.
Our roaches ain't even that color. Our roach is brown.
When the husband got on the phone and said, we don't play that shit. She bit down on the motherfucking roach. She's eating the chicken. Oh my God. So there he is. That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you all. Y'all have a good one.
Can you let our listeners know how they can keep in touch with you? And
yo, my name is Roy Wood Jr. Put an @ in front, put a .com behind it. You'll find me everywhere. I looked up and got all my domains. All my social domains.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Appreciate you.
Thank you, ladies. Have a good one.